And those of you who know me know that I'm a little bit passionate about intuition. But you might be wondering, what does intuition have to do with business? The answer is a lot. And it has even more to do with being in business. So we're going to talk about that tonight. And I'm going to show you some really practical ways to start using your own intuition to make everything you do in your life better. But we're going to start with 3 really simple words. You are extraordinary. You are extraordinary. You are, and you are. I don't know all of you, but I do know one thing. Each and every one of you has a spectacular hidden power within you that has all the answers that you're looking for. You might have felt it when you were young. You might have felt it in the nudges, the whispers, the guidance that you don't quite understand. You might have just known something. There was no way for you to know. Or had a feeling you shouldn't do something or should do something. And there's no explanation. That's the thing about intuition, it's a mystery. What I'm here to tell you is there is an explanation. And it's more than a mystery, it's real, it's quantifiable, it's learnable, and it's the next step for our thinking, and it's the future. And it's also your secret weapon for everything you do in business. Now I just have to figure out how to explain it. Let's see. There we go. So what is the world's best kept secret? According to me, my opinion is that you have an untapped, underutilized, intuitive faculty within you that the world has tried to convince you doesn't exist. When was the last time you had an intuitive thought and someone told you were crazy? Or it didn't make sense? Right? Intuition's kind of been pushed back to that place of, relegated to a place where you don't quite respect it. We don't quite even believe that it's real. And that's what happens over time when we don't use something. And society puts it in a different place. But the reality is that intuition is something that it's really just the other side of our brain. We have an intellectual side and we have an intuitive side. We have a creative, rich intuitive side that has been underplayed for most of our lives. So let me just ask you, how many of you feel like you're intuitive? Put up your hand if you feel intuitive. That's pretty much most of you. All right, so let's drill down a little bit. How many of you feel like you're just like a little intuitive? Like it happens, you're just not sure about it, but like it happens from time to time. A couple, yeah, you do. How many feel like your intuition, like you are really intuitive and you rely on it? I love that. Oh, the guys here too with their intuition. That's good. Because intuition isn't just for women, despite what people say. Some of the greatest advocates of intuition have in fact been men. But we all have it, but it naturally comes to women often because we are more receptive and open to it. Because that's what intuition is all about, just about being open to it. You don't have to go and get a PhD to learn how to use it or be born with some magical power. You just have to be open to it. So we all just need to learn to be a little more open to it. So I look at radical intuition, which is the name of my book, because I really want to have a new perspective and a new understanding of intuition, because it's got a bad rap. People really don't really get what intuition is all about. And this idea of radical intuition is understanding it from this new perspective, this next level thinking. So our minds, our thinking minds, have brought us really far. We can do great things with our thinking minds. We've built cities and culture and wisdom and science with our minds, but now there's something more. The time of intuition is rising. The intuition age is upon us. The information age, which we're in right now, that's not going to last forever, because we've got machines and computers that are smarter than us already. So what is the indefinable human quality that machines hasn't yet? Intuition. And it touches all aspects of our life. It's not just about our spiritual connection. It is very much that. But it's also about how we create, how we discover, how we relate to each other, empathy, how we heal ourselves, the foods we eat, the nutrition that we put in our bodies so intuitive. The way we lead and run our businesses, so intuitive. The best businesses are intuitive businesses. So when we realize that intuition isn't just this strange thing that appears now and then, or this crazy feeling inside us, it's actually something that we can use just like we use our minds. It's something that touches everything we do, and everything that we do in our life we can do better when we use our intuition. So insight is the mark of genius, and insight means learning from within. So we're going to talk about intuition today, and we're going to talk about learning from within and why that's so important in business. You know, I come from the tech world. I worked for 20 years in the tech world, so I understand the dynamics. I understand innovation. I ran creative technology for many years at the Pittsburgh Technology Council, and looking at what the signatures are of successful companies. Creativity, insight. These are valuable markers for the future and things that you want to have and you want to incorporate in your work. This is stuff that the people, the extraordinary women that were up here, I'm sure a part of them recognizes the work they've done in this because it leads to extraordinary things. People like Steve Jobs, intuition is a very powerful thing, more powerful than intellect. Steve Jobs said that. He's kind of a poster guy for intuition, actually, if you look him up. Him and Einstein, the only real valuable thing is intuition. Both men, I might add. So when you really start to look at intuition, you get past the stereotypes, you realize that there's something here. And it's connected to genius. Even Oprah. Trust your instincts. Intuition doesn't lie. You know when something doesn't feel right, you trust that. Learning to trust your instincts with your business, with your life, with the people and things you do. One of the most valuable things you can ever do. You might not know why, but once you know your intuition is telling you something, you know to follow it. Famous last words, I didn't follow my intuition, right? You can relate to that. Yeah. You do it. Someone told you, oh, your mind comes in and overrides it. Because that's what minds do. Minds think they know everything. But really, intuition does. Intuition is connected, something higher than the minds, and can go beyond the mind, which is what people like Albert Einstein discovered. He had some of his greatest epiphanies in the middle of the night, out of nowhere. He tried for months and months to solve problems with his thinking mind, and he couldn't do it. But it just came to him in a moment of receptivity, in a moment when he was open. It just came. So we need to learn how to do that, right? We all want to tap into our genius a little bit more. Because it's easier. Who doesn't want information to just come? We're not going to work so hard. That's a secret. And here's another secret. So the leader you have always been looking for is within you. It is you. So think about that for a second. Every teacher, every mentor, every guy, every person you've ever looked up to, what they were really doing was showing you who you really are. If they did their job, they were teaching you to follow yourself. Because that's what leadership is. Leadership isn't following other people. Leadership is following yourself. And what guides you? Your intuition. So intuition is the secret to genuine, authentic leadership. And it gives you the quality of empathy too, so you can understand the people that you're leading and connect with them. So important. So knowing that the real connection is within you, that changes things. We don't have to keep up with what everybody else is doing. We don't have to try on other people's lives. We're entering a new frontier where the new frontier is the inner frontier, where we go within. It's within us. All the information of the world is stored out there in the data of the universe, eternal. Everything's ever happened, is happening, will happen. It's all out there. It all exists. There's a part of our human mind that can tap into it. It's not so crazy when we understand quantum physics. 100 years ago it seemed crazy because we just knew Newtonian physics. We just knew cause and effect. We knew we had to go to A plus B plus C plus D. Now we can just go from A to Z. through that wormhole, and we're there. And we know that's how life works, and that's real, and that's how intuition works too. So understanding that kind of knowledge is for inner access only. You can't get it by following the world. Follow yourself, not the world. The real information is inner access only. You have to go within. Which leads us to the topic of today, is the business of intuition. So how are we going to do all this? How does that apply to life and business and making a living in our life's work? We're going to talk about some practical ways to bring this into our life and to embody it in what we do, and how to allow it to serve us and work more from our inner genius and bring that extraordinary nature into our work. So, the first step, this is so important, we were literally just talking about this, and you've probably heard this before, but it's so important for reasons you might not actually understand yet, is that you need to create more white space on your calendar. Like, literally do that. And you've heard about companies like Google having, Fridays, we're not going to schedule meetings because we need to create, we need to ideate. It's so important to do those things, right? There's a reason why these really smart people are doing things like this and integrating it into the workspace, because there's magic in the stillness. There's magic in the silence. The best ideas don't come at your desk. When was the last time that you had a great idea while you were going through all your emails or crossing off your to-do list? Like, next to never. The great ideas come in the shower, when you're riding a bike, or when you're driving your car, when you've gotten your mind out of the way. So that's what we want to do, is get the mind out of the way and get into that place more so those ideas can fall from the sky. Do nothing like it's your job. I want that to be the little voice in your head when you leave and you go away and you're trying, I've got a couple hours, what can I do? Do nothing like it's your job. We feel guilty for doing nothing. We always have to be doing stuff. I've got to catch up. I've got to get this all done. But what you'll find out, you put those 2 hours on your calendar where you're going to go for a walk, or, I don't know, go for a bike ride or a drive, or take a hot bath, whatever you like to do that doesn't involve doing. You will be amazed at how that actually increases your productivity. You know why? Because the ideas come there. So you can spend all day, I've done this is me, spending all day, 2 days, 3 days, 4 days, trying to figure something out, working through different things. And then one day in the shower, it just comes to me, this is what I should have been doing all along. I could have saved myself 3 days of work if I would have opened up and got that moment of inspiration, that little bit of creativity right from the start. So creating that white space creates more productivity, opens you up to new ideas, and allows you to open up into that space of receptivity where you can go to the next level that your mind can't get to when it's busy and running in circles on that hamster wheel. Do nothing like it's your job. Like it's your job. Step 2. Get comfortable outside of your comfort zone. Nobody likes hearing that. We like to be comfortable. We like to know what we're doing, like we're in control. But my motto, back when I was doing all this stuff at tech, was, if you know what you're doing something wrong. And I heard that echoed up here. I heard that echoed in the imposter syndrome that we all feel. We feel like we're not good enough. We feel like we need to know more before we're actually an expert, or we can actually go out there and own our space. But I say, when you are an expert, when you're in that place, you're not growing anymore. You want to be growing. You want to be trying new things. You want to be experimenting and failing forward. That's what those rich experiences are. You want to not know what you're doing. Who here kind of doesn't know what they're doing? Nobody wants to admit it? Oh, yeah, that's good. That's honest people. Nobody really wants to admit that, right? I never know what I'm doing. And I haven't known what I've been doing for 10 years, literally. And it's worked out. I've got both deals. So get comfortable in that place. Own it. You know what you're doing. That's great. You have imposter syndrome. That's great. Good for you. You get a gold star if you have imposter syndrome. tonight, because that tells me you're out of your comfort zone. You're trying something different. You're not resting on your laurels, and you're not following other people, which is the kiss of death if you're an entrepreneur. You want to have your own space. You want to have your own path. You want to offer something new that no one's seen before. Right? I mean, if you just want to have a nice job and just clock in 9 to 5, that's great. But you got to set the world on fire. You got to follow your intuition. You got to own your path. Follow yourself, not the world. Step 3, collaborate. So this is the fun part, right? So in the beginning we talked about white space, getting out there, being alone, letting that inspiration flow. But once we get going, once we get these ideas churning, what do we want to do? We want to work together, because then we go from the yin to the yang. We want to share ideas. We want to bounce our ideas off other people. We want to learn from different perspectives. When I did study with Carnegie Mellon University on creative industries, companies, one of the things that we found out was that the most successful companies were companies that not only collaborated a lot, but they collaborated with people that were different than they were. Different. New perspectives. New ideas. That's the key, is making that mashup of opposing views and strange bedfellows that create chemistry. So relationships create chemistry, and having more intuitions than one creates chemistry. And those are the things that create the energy for the 4th step, which is following your passion. If you've got a business, you've got to love what you're doing. If you're an entrepreneur, all you entrepreneurs out there, I know you've got to love it, because it's hard work. And if you love it, you never work a day in your life, as they say. So you ask yourself, what makes your heart sing? What do you love? What gets you out of bed in the morning? That's what your intuition is calling you to do. Your intuition, that feeling you have inside you, it moves you to do what you're meant to do in this world. That's real. That calling is real. And that's something we have to listen to. And you might have naysayers. How many of you have had an idea or a project or something you wanted to do, and someone said, you can never do that? Right? Yeah. But you knew different. Deep inside, you knew different. You know, people say, oh, you know, you're not made for that. Like, oh, you want to be president of the United States? You can never do that. But deep inside, you know different. Because only you know what your calling is. Nobody else knows what you're called to do. So we have to tune out our conditioning from what the outside world has told us, or how the outside world has judged us. Because our true guide is within us. And no one can tell us what we're capable of. Follow yourself, not the world. You are made for more than the world knows. Your intuition knows. Your intuition knows everything. That's the secret. It knows every single thing there is to know. Because it's connected to the thing that is beyond whatever word we want to give for that. That's what your intuition connects to. And that's what moves you when you follow your intuition. So why would we want to follow our little minds with a very limited perspective when we have a higher understanding that can work with our minds? I'm not saying one or the other. We need our really smart minds. We need those. They're great. They've done a lot for us, but they're not enough. They're not enough. We have to do more. We have to do better. And that's what intuition is about. It's about the intuition revolution. It is about moving into the intuition age when we are complementing our really smart minds with the sensitive, inspiring, innovative, creative forces of our intuition that allows each of us to move from a higher place. To be true to yourself, this is the most revolutionary act. To overthrow your conditioning, overthinking, and what everyone else tells you to do. To pledge allegiance to your own true inner voice. This is a powerful rebellion. These are the choices that forge great lives, blaze new trails, and ultimately unbound our spirits. This is the spirit of radical intuition. This is the future. And I hope that some of you will join me there, and I hope that this message has resonated with you tonight. My name is Kim Chestney, and the book is Radical Intuition.